Former Governor Jan Brewer joining us right now knows something about heavy turnout, and to get a state behind her. She's backing Donald Trump. She's not backed down from that, despite some controversial comments he has made. Governor Brewer, we're normally told that big crowds are good for Donald Trump. Is it your sense that the crowds that are showing up are bigger than they normally even would be in light of the attacks in Brussels today, and that this is sort of reawaken folks to the idea porous borders, dangerous elements that can cross those borders, big issues?
Absolutely, and certainly with the terrible attack today in Belgium and in Brussels, I think it really highlighted the issues that people have been fearing for so long. This evilness that we are seeing across this world is so depressing and so awful. It's just made it so realistic. And of course, we all believe, and I believe certainly, that we are the target. Islamic terrorists, we are their target. They hate us. They don't like us, and of course, they have no idea or any good thoughts in regards to life at all. I mean, they will murder women and children, and certainly will blow themselves up. So they have no life sanctity about them, and I think that has really brought it to the forefront. And I think today at the polls, particularly here in Arizona, because we are a border state and we know what illegal immigration is all about, and put on top of that we have the largest nuclear power plant, that we want to be protected, and we want our federal government to protect us. And I think that they believe that Donald Trump will do just that. He will listen and he will protect us.
Even though the mainstream media, for lack of a better term, and I'm talking about the Arizona Republicans, some of the others that always poke fun at Trump and his, we'll build a wall, the Mexicans will pay for it, they've had a field day going after him on that and dismissing. Of course, they had a field day ribbing you, and I think you did okay. But what do you make of that and the fact that there is a separation between voters in the state and, let's say, the media in the state?
Well, I think I think the media, leans left. They are more liberal, and I think the people.
Media leans left. Gotcha. All right, go ahead.
The majority of the media, and they write things that are just absolutely absurd. They're absolutely writing silly stuff. We understand that we've got a problem out here, and we in the working class, those of us that live in the communities, we have a pulse on the people, and the people know how they feel, and they're the ones that feel the heartache and the suffering in regards to a lot of these issues, and we feel as if the public hasn't listened to us. The public being the people that we have put in place of ourselves as far as elected officials. And so I think we're looking at change on both sides of the aisle.
Governor, real quick while I have you, I know you're pressed for time. Much has been made of Donald Trump and his people being very sore if he does not get the nomination, that he leads by a lot. And this quest for 1237, and people just sort of being sticklers about it, is unfair to him. Do you think that just because he leads by a lot, your counterpart, the present governor in Florida, Rick Scott, says if he leads by a lot and he's not at 1237, it's his nomination. Do you agree with that?
I do. I believe that they all took the pledge that they would support the winner, and they never said anything about 1237.
You have 1,237 delegates, right?
But they didn't say that. They did not say that. They said they would support the winner. And 1237 never entered that equation. And our party, the Republican Party, is the party of the...
It's half the delegates plus one. We'd be changing the rules, right?
Well, there's an orchestration going on by the insiders and by our party to have a brokered convention, and that's unfair. We want our votes to count, and they are going to fracture the Republican Party if they go forward in the means that they're going to. And bottom line is, I think Donald's going to win.
Fred Tish Regan and his Lou Dobbs. Lou, this is an important point. I don't want to be a stickler about it, but do you think that if Donald Trump is close, but he is not at that 1237, but he does lead, let's say, Ted Cruz by hundreds of delegates, maybe by the time you get to the convention, it's his nomination?
I think the effect may well be precisely that. Arithmetically, the fact of the matter is there have been 17 people who began this contest, And if you want to take then, you know, if you want to make a majority out of whatever is left after those who've retired from the field, I think that would be a terrifically fair way to do it. No one's, I'm the only one advancing that idea, so it's not likely to survive very long. But I do think there is a real issue here about bringing people together. It's going to be a test of leadership. But you have it.
You could do that in follow-up ballots.
Yeah, but I think everybody should be cognizant of this fact. We've got people like Reince Priebus and others, Paul Ryan, saying you've got to follow the rules. And that's great. But here's the deal. The establishment is animated, energized, and attacking him dynamically every day, Trump. So they're saying they get to be the opposition, they get to set the rules, and they get to run the convention.
But that was an agreed-upon rule, right? I don't want to be explicit about this.
Wait a minute. Rule 40 has been, you know, suddenly they're saying, you know, Rule 40, 40B, is only relevant to the 2012 convention, which had never even been expressed by anyone until this week.
Do you think it would be different if Marco Rubio were out in front and, you know, Trump maybe had a shot at catching up?
I think he's a brilliant deal maker, and to the governor's point, I think that he would probably find a way to secure those extra delegates so that he does win on a first ballot. But it is the rule.
It's the rule, yes. Think about how disenfranchised all of those Americans will feel that did vote for him, though. And they'll feel like we were almost there. And if you take it away, I think you really are looking at a very splintered party, and you may be looking at two different parties.
But if you give it to the guy who has the most delegates, and I know I'm being kind of anal about this, Governor Brewer, by that math, Abraham Lincoln would have never become president.
There wouldn't have been a civil war then. Is that what you're saying? Well, no, but I mean, when people bring up Abraham Lincoln, I think it's really instructive. But
I could bring up Garfield. I could bring up other examples.
But having chosen Lincoln, you have put yourself right on the precipice of a civil war.
And
the reason,
let me say that,
and by the way, that division in the party reflected the division in the country. And I think, by the way, very much the same.
But they had rules. They had rules, right?
Oh, they do have rules. They do have rules.
Governor, your final thought on this?
Well, I was just going to comment and say that, you know, when they meet at the convention, they go into the Rules Committee, and every year they adopt different rules. And every one of those candidates pledged that they would support the winner. And that's what they need to do. They maybe need to change those rules and give it to the person
the rule that says you have to have 1,237?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, we changed the rules. I've been the leader of the delegation from Arizona for many years, and the Rules Committee meet a week ahead of the convention.
All right. Well, I feel like I'm in an island in the Pacific on this one, so I'll leave it. All right. But, guys, I want to thank you very, very much. Governor, certainly thank you.